get started, I have a couple of shoutouts. Kareem Abur has a birthday tomorrow, July 5th, birthday tomorrow. So happy birthday to Kareem Abur. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing your name right. And Dark Sage wants a shout out. Dark Sage, sorry to hear about your puppy getting bit by a rattlesnake. I hope your puppy is doing good. So a big shout out to Dark Sage and a big shout out to the rest of you as well. Also, happy 4th of July to my amazing neighbors to the south. The fabulous, amazing country of the United States has their birthday today. So a big shout out and a happy birthday to the United States of America and all its amazing citizens. Okay, I got some ribs and chicken to dig into here. Can't wait, I'm starving. Got a bubbly. Now, hard to believe, but I was 12 years old once. Now this story, it's not really a story, I'm just talking about when I was a youngster, and people have always asked me what you do when you're a kid, what kind of a life did you have? I had a fabulous childhood, I really did, no complaints. I had lots of friends, very popular, very active. My parents were kind of out of the dark ages, and my dad was kind of heavy-handed. The teachers back then would think nothing of swagging over the head with a yardstick. They did that now, they'd be spending the weekends at the Crowbar Hotel, but back then it seemed to be the norm. So I'm talking about 11, 12, 13, around that era. So in 1969 I was 12. The age of experimentation, I started taking an interest in girls around, age 11. Well, I mean, I always thought they were interesting, but, I got real interested when I was a little bit older, And the funny thing is I'm kind of focused on age 11, 12, 13, give or take, so 12, whatever. But funny thing is so much happened in those years, a lot of experimentation, smoking cigarettes, and getting to know girls, and prior to that it was always just boys, now, I was branching out a bit. But back in those days, the boys played with the boys, the girls played with the girls, But that was when I started to notice, girls more, and my friends were too. I got this chicken and these ribs from the deli. So, the first girl I went out with, I was 11. I think she was 11, just almost 12. She was about 3 feet taller than I was. Because girls always just grew faster than boys at that age. They just sprung up. The girls always seem to be taller. But I remember, we started hanging out with them. My friend Bob. At this playhouse in his backyard. And we'd all go there, hang out. Sometimes if you liked a girl, you'd put backyard or basement or playhouse or clubhouse or treehouse or whatever, you know. Or when McDonald's came to town, we hung out there. Or different restaurants. Go to the restaurant and have a coffee. If somebody was rich, I'd order a plate of fries. So one thing a lot of us would start doing, we'd start smoking. That was always kind of that kind of separated the boys from the real boys, you know, that kind of thing. If you smoked, you're cool. If you didn't, you're a sissy, that kind of thing, right? I like being that age. It was a lot of fun. We'd get together at somebody's house, play spin the bottle. I remember being very shy about that at first. But it's also very exciting. I'm getting to kiss a girl, right? Now, sometimes if there's a girl you really liked, that was really exciting. I remember my very first girlfriend, Kathy. You know, there was always a big gang of us kids all hung out together. And if you met somebody you liked them, and you wanted to go out, it was called going around, you know. Did you hear that Bob and Janice are going around together, you know? I didn't know that. Wow. So, when I met Kathy, it wasn't long before we were going around. Which really meant you'd sit in the clubhouse with your arm around each other, give each other a kiss or two. That was it. But there's nothing like being that age and discovering those feelings about yourself when you meet somebody. How exciting it is, you know. It's like you just never felt that before. And I remember it was in the spring. All winter long, Kathy and I had been going around together. You know, you go to house parties together and this kind of thing. And this one spring, my friend Daryl, course, I was crushed. And Daryl, being such a gentleman, like just a kid, right, says, I hope you don't mind. This won't affect our friendship, will it? I said, oh, no, of course not. I remember he told me about a week later, the girl he really liked was Kathy's friend, Carolyn. She was the blonde that everybody liked. Everybody liked Carolyn. So Daryl and Kathy didn't last very long, but you know what? We all stayed as a gang. We were all friends. I'll never forget that feeling where one day I was on cloud 9. Next day my heart was broken. I just remembered it was just such a weird feeling. I never experienced that before. You know, one day everything's bright and sunny. Next day it's gray and cloudy, you know. Hard to process those feelings when you're a kid. But our house parties back then, a lot of times if the parents weren't home, we'd have some great parties. Go there, we could smoke cigarettes. And whoever was having the party says, okay, if we smoke, they say, oh yeah, my parents smoke. What their meaning was, they wouldn't smell smoke when they came home because they smoked themselves. And that's true. If they didn't smoke, they would have noticed it. So we'd all be down in the basement, listening to all kinds of music. As an example, everything from the Beatles, you know, The Who. I remember Rod Stewart. I'd never heard nothing like that before. Such a different voice. And Alice Cooper. Now the legitimate house parties where the parents were home and the ones you were allowed to have, they were different. You couldn't smoke. But typical house party was we'd be at somebody's house and the parents would order pizza, have, you know, pop, lots of dancing, you know. We bring a stack of everybody bring their 45s, a stack of 45s, and have a little record player. And everybody's party was different, you know. The same yet different, you know. The same formula. Pizza, pop. One lady, or one girl, her mother, they had hot dogs. When it was my turn to have a party, I talked to my parents about it. They agreed to stay upstairs. I said earlier, kind of the Dark Ages. To them, pizza was some foreign matter they didn't really know anything about. So, they got me a bucket of Kentucky Fried Chicken instead. So we had poppin' Kentucky Fried Chicken and chips and stuff. This would be on a weekend, so by 9 or 10 o'clock was all over. Sometimes we play games like Twister. Spin the bottle was a real daring game. It was, you almost felt like you were like swingers doing something you shouldn't be doing. We still love playing that. The house parties are so much fun. Listening to Three Dog Night, or the Guess Who, or whoever, right? We loved our house parties, especially during the winter when it was freezing out. And during the winter, we played hockey. And even if we weren't playing hockey, we'd play something on the ice, broom ball or shinny or something. Winters were long in Saskatchewan, really, really long and cold. Wow. Really long. So it's always nice to go to somebody's house and stay warm. Watch TV. Remember going to see a movie. My friend Bob and I went with Kathy and Carolyn. He was going around with Carolyn, I was going around with Kathy. We went and saw Romeo and Juliet. And they actually showed a little bit of, for about 2 seconds, you can see her boobies, right? Wow. That in itself was worth going for. Now, I remember during the summer, they had these recreational units, like these rec centers. In the winter, they doubled as a place for all the hockey players to change into their gear before they went out on the ice. But in the summer, they were a hangout. There was always a playground and a little kiddie swimming pool and a big swimming pool close by. All outdoor stuff, but we'd go to the rec unit. It was like a drop-in place to see and be seen. Everybody went there. I was always involved in stuff. They'd have dances, outdoor dances. When I played in a band, we played there. It was great. I always had 2 supervisors. These are generally college students. I assume they volunteer during the summer. May have been a paying job, I'm not sure. I had a really good childhood. We had a lot of fun. Like I said, we just hang out there, and that's where it all happened. There was also something every year called the Children's Day Parade. And I was involved in that a couple times. Basically, you go to a big warehouse. And have a float. And you start making these flowers out of Kleenex and tissue paper for the float. Make thousands of them. Help decorate the float, help build it. We were always involved. It was a lot of fun. One year, we did Mother Goose, a great big giant goose that was really cool. And part of that was 3 men in the tub, and I was one of the 3 men in the tub. And it was always televised on TV. I remember watching myself on TV after it was, after they replayed it, and I could see myself go by. It was kind of cool. And black and white, of course. And the next year we did the Yellow Submarine. Oh yeah, so that the mouth of the submarine opened. No, sorry. No. We did Yellow Submarine. Yeah. And then another year we did, oh I know, it was the whale. The whale with the mouth open. Moby Dick. That's where it was, yeah. Yeah, Yellow Submarine. Float, of course, is completely yellow. And then another year we did it. I think it was my last year. And we had the whale hooked up. They rigged it up so the mouth could open. And all those kids would be sitting inside. It was kind of cool. But there was a lot of floats. It was like a really big deal. Really big parade. So much fun. I remember when I was 11, I got appendicitis. Ended up in the hospital, really, really sick. Man, that was awful. Of course, I pulled through, obviously. But to swim in some old slough. That's where he swam. Swimming was 10 cents. My mom would buy a season's ticket. It wasn't really a season's ticket, I think it was you get 100 swims. Show me your card. And you're allowed 100 swims. I'd burn through that in no time. I love going to the swimming pool. There was a couple we went to. One was several blocks away, but the one we went to was right beside the rec unit. That was our favorite one. We used to sneak in. It's at the back. There was a great big hill. So easy to climb the fence and jump in. We used to do that a lot. That was when I was older and bolder. But we just spent our whole entire summers there. I was always outside, riding my bicycle. The boys all had jean jackets. There was GWG and Lee's. And I can't remember which ones were the cool ones. It was Lee or GWG, but anyways, yeah, my friends all had the cool ones. Bell bottoms, Adidas running shoes, or Civil War boots. We used to wear those Civil War boots. I had this suede frilly vest, like those frills, something like Daniel Boone would wear, like those vests. I thought I was the coolest kid on the planet when I wore that. I wore that for years. I used to have a picture of myself with these bell bottoms. They were looked like somebody took an ink blotter and blotted them. They're actually they're pretty cool. But we used to go to the swimming pool at nighttime and watch water polo. Different teams in the city, and these were usually high school students or college students that would play water polo. Very aggressive sport. We didn't really care about the game or the outcome. It was just a place to hang out and be seen, something to do. But like I said, we used to play games like kick the can. I love playing that. It was so much fun, especially as it started to get dark. But then my wife had been home by 9. On the weekends, I mean. Weekdays, I can't bit later, my parents would get pretty upset. Not too happy. Now, my parents used to go away and leave my sister and myself at home alone. I was 12, she was 3 years older, she was 15. So they considered her somewhat responsible. I don't want to say adult, but more responsible. But then I also had an older sister who was 10 years older than me who would drop in and check on us. But she pretty much let us do whatever we wanted. When my parents went away, man, we had some really good parties. Wow, it was summer '69, I remember that so well. So much fun. Hearing Led Zeppelin for the first time. Bands like Santana. But my sister has some really cool friends. I'm still in touch with a lot of them too on Facebook and that sort of thing. My sister had a boyfriend named Bob, and he had this old Morris Minor. Oh, I forget what year that was. Must have been something from the 40s. But that was his car, right? This old jalopy. So me and this guy named Larry, I was dating his sister named Sharon. Her and I were going around. So me and Larry and Bob and my sister and 2 other guys. One guy's name was Dave, and I think the other guy was Don. I'm not using last names here. We wanted to go to a place called Cranberry Flats on the outskirts of Saskatoon. Really nothing there, but go there and have a barbecue and hang out. So this one summer we wanted to do that, but didn't have any money. So we stopped at the grocery store, and me and Larry and my sister and her boyfriend Bob all waited in the car. He had no top on, it was like a convertible. And Dave and Dawn, they said they'd done this before. They go into the grocery store. And back in those days, when you walked in, the tills all had, they had bag boys or whatever they were called back then. You know, young guys or girls that would bag your groceries. And there's always a stack of brown grocery bags, paper bags on each till. So they'd walk in, go to a till that wasn't being used, grab a couple of bags, just reach down, grab them real quick, put them in the shopping cart, walk around, load up on what they wanted, hot dogs, buns, whatever, you know, pop, juice. Just as they're about to walk out the store, they'd take their shopping bags, put everything in the shopping bag, put it in the cart, and just walk out like they paid for it. And it looked like they just paid for it. And we were sitting in the car waiting for him and waiting and waiting. Oh my gosh, it's taking a long time. It's taking forever. All of a sudden we see him, Bob says, "Here they come." I'll never forget. There's Dave pushing the cart along like this. And Don's walking beside him just so nonchalant. They get the cart there. Let's get out of here. So we put all the groceries in the car. He just shoves the cart away. Take off. Got away with it. It's funny, I always spotted that. sister. They went out a couple times. Like a couple different, 6 months here and then 6 months later, then go out again and, break up and go out again. When I was a young man, I delivered newspapers. So I had spending money, which is nice. I was able to save. Is it not exactly fall off the bone ribs? But Larry's sister Sharon, I really liked her. She was she kind of took me to a different level. She liked the neck. Can't but smile when I think about that. And she loved long kisses, but it was always with her lips closed, you know what I mean? We probably went out for maybe a couple months. At that age, that's like years, right? I remember years later, my friend Richard said he was recalling those days when I went out with Sharon. He said, I never saw you all summer. And I kind of forgot about her until you reminded me. I said, who was that girl you went out with? Because I never saw you all summer. But the first time I got drunk, I was 12 years old. 6 beer. Wow. I was really, really drunk, really, really sick. Wow, was I sick? I was so drunk, it was almost like I was hallucinating. I was just so drunk. Like, wow. I was lying downstairs on the floor in the basement beside the washing machine. There was a hose that ran into the sewer from the washing machine. I had my face with my mouth open like that, puking in that sewer. I was so sick. Anyways, yeah, it was so funny. Remember another time, our friend Nick, he snuck about 12 beer from his dad's liquor cabinet, a dozen beer, and there was probably about 8 of us. So we all drank beer, smoking cigarettes in the park at nighttime, right? thinking we're so cool because we're smoking cigarettes. We each had a beer, you know, a little stubby. You know what's funny, my friends? Is 2 beers definitely my limit. Yesterday I was floating in the pool and I had a Corona. And I had one. It's got to the point now I just have one. I used to have 2, but now I just have one. So I have 2. I want to have a nap. Lindo always says I'm 2 beer and a nap. But 2 is definitely my limit. I won't drink 3. But we used to go to outdoor festivals. There used to be these festivals, rock festivals called Wood Tick. And they were a lot of fun. It was an all-day thing. Local bands. Always one fairly big headliner. But it was so much fun. You go there. You'd be outside all day. Listen to music. It was at the fairgrounds. They have tents set up to be selling incense and, you know, a real hippie thing, right? I loved it. Just loved it. And a big highlight also was every August they had the exhibition and the carnival. It ran for a week. I love going there. Going on all the rides. I loved it. So much fun. Look forward to that every year. First time I went on the Zipper. Ride called the Zipper. I was probably about 12. And I saw it on the news. I thought, I'm not going on that. My friends and I all agreed we weren't going to go on. Then we ran to Bob and I was on it. It's no big deal. So then my friends all wanted to go on. And I didn't. But there's that thing called peer pressure. That's right. Reluctantly I went on. It wasn't that bad. It was worse decades later when I was in my 30s and my nephew talked me into going on it. Actually, probably in my 40s at that point. It was terrifying then. Wow, that was good. That was a lot of food. There's all my bones. It really worked up a thirst. I had a really good childhood, my friends. Fortunately, I was never bullied, you know. I mean, you know, you get picked on occasionally, but I mean, you know, I wasn't, you know, consistently bullied. I was never victimized, and I pity children who are. It's a shame that happens, but I was never abused. abused or sexually abused, nothing like that. You know, like I said, the parents and teachers were kind of heavy-handed sometimes, but that was the era, you know, and I learned to deal with it. I had a lot of fun, very, a very wholesome childhood. I never heard an adult, honestly, swear, I never heard an adult use the F word until I went to work in a logging camp when I was 19 years old. Because adults didn't talk that way around kids. You know, I heard a lot of kids talk like that. I did myself. But never an adult talk like that. It was shocking, actually. But anyways, yeah. I remember, like sitting in the playhouse, all us guys and girls, and sometimes sneak off and you'd go necking, or one of the girls end up with a hickey, and whatever. And it was like, wow, so-and-so gave so-and-so a hickey, yeah, great times. No regrets. Had a really good childhood. Well, there it is, my friends. I'd really be interested in hearing about your childhood. I hope it's a good one. Hope you had a good one. I'd like to hear about some of the things I used to do. How'd you pass the time when you were 12 years old? 11, 12, 13, around there. I kind of lumped 11, 12, and 13 all into because that's kind of where I was at that time, like I said, the age of experimentation, and I mean, even then I was interested. When I was 12, I was interested in cannabis, like marijuana, but of course, at that age, couldn't get any, right? Nobody'd ever give anybody to somebody that age, and that would come later. That's another video. That's a good one. I'll have to tell that one sometime, except I'm afraid my wholesome ASMR image might kind of take a dive, but anyways, we'll have a past. So, anyways, please share with me your, some of your childhood memories. I love to hear them. I love reading all that stuff. So in the meantime, you look after yourselves, look after each other. Stay amazing out there in the land of awesome. Once again, my American friends, happy birthday to you and your amazing country. Okay, we'll see you next time. Bye now.